Hello, and thanks so much for joining us today. I'm Carol Jenkins. The program is Black America, and our guest today is Virginia Johnson, the artistic director of the famed Dance Theatre of Harlem, a dancer herself, the founder of Point Magazine, and in charge of a traveling company and some 700 dance students. Thank you so much, Virginia, for being with us today.
Carol, it's great to be here today.
Right.
Thank you.
Great. Not so easy to have 700 would-be ballet dancers that have to be molded for this current world.
Ooh, not easy, but full of joy. You know, when I look at those young people and look at the joy that they have, the inspiration that they have, and I imagine that I'm helping build their future, oh, that's a wonderful treat.
Yes, you certainly are. And as I told you, many the Saturday morning was I sitting in the hallway while my granddaughter was taking classes there. And you sent her off to the School of American Ballet. So thank you so much for that wonderful, wonderful influence.
Well, I wish her good luck. It takes a lot of time to make a dancer.
It does indeed. It does indeed. Now, talk to us about your time put in becoming a dancer. You grew up in Washington, D.C.?
I did grow up in Washington, D.C., and I studied at a neighborhood school that was run by a friend of my mother's, and this woman has had a real passion for ballet. This is Washington, D.C. in the 1940s. No one would teach her ballet.
Of course, of course.
You know, it's a very segregated city. So she was fortunate enough to be able to take herself off to France, and she studied in France with a Russian ballerina, and she came back and she opened a school. And I studied there, and that's where I fell in love with it. I really imagined myself, just like the little girl in the video, up there on the stage on my toes. I actually moved from that school to the Washington School of Ballet, where I trained and graduated from the academy. And when I graduated, the week before I graduated, the director came to me and she said, you know, Virginia, you're very talented, you've worked really hard, you're going to have a career, but you're never going to be a ballerina.
Oh my goodness.
Because there are no black ballerinas.
Right, there are. And in fact, in those days, there were
very few. Well, there was Janet Collins, who danced
Right.
at the Metropolitan Opera, and there was Raven Wilkinson, who had to go to Europe to have a career. But in America, there were no black ballerinas. I went to New York to go to New York University because I thought coming here would give me a chance to be a dancer. I'd find a way. And I got here just at the moment that Arthur Mitchell was creating Dance Theatre of Harlem.
Talk about luck, fortune.
Good fortune, absolutely.
Good fortune, and you were prepared to, so you were a founding member. As we said, it's hard to believe, 50 years ago, almost 50 years.
Almost 50 years ago, exactly.
And we should explain who Arthur Mitchell actually is. Was fantastic, extraordinarily successful. When Balanchine is designing dances on your body for you, that's really something. So.
Yeah, Arthur Mitchell had a huge career as a dancer with the New York City Ballet. He was actually the first African American to be a permanent member of a ballet company. And Arthur Mitchell was a principal dancer. He was in movies, he was on Broadway, but he was a ballet star. And in 1968, the US government had invited him to go to Brazil to start a ballet company because we were trying to put together better relations between the nations. We know how powerful the arts are in bringing people together. So he was on his way to Rio de Janeiro on April 4th, 1968, which we all know was the day Dr. King was assassinated.
Right.
And that stopped him in his tracks. You know, we had all been so influenced by Dr. King, but Arthur Mitchell said, well, you know, I need to pick up that mantle. I need to do something as important, as powerful as what Dr. King was doing. And he also said, though, but I'm a ballet dancer, what can I do? He looked around Harlem, the young people in Harlem, the schools were failing, there was no future, these people didn't have a chance to change their lives. And he said, I'll teach them a classical art form. I will give them the life skills that will enable them to have a better life. That's what ballet can do for them. And so he opened Dance Theatre of Harlem as a school. He had 400 kids right away. And he wanted them to learn focus. He wanted them to learn discipline. And he wanted them to learn perseverance. You know, the thing about ballet is it's so hard. All anybody ever says to you is, no, that's wrong.
Right.
So you gain the strength and belief in yourself by having something you believe in and something that you have to pour yourself into. And so he wanted these young people to have that kind of strength. And so he created Dance Theatre of Harlem.
And it is just fantastic. And you talk about people telling you you're doing something wrong. For black dancers, it's often you look wrong. You're not fitting the the cast, the type of what a ballerina, a ballet dancer looks like. And there's all of that. We have a clip of you dancing very early with the Dance Theatre of Harlem. Let's play that, and then let's talk as we see Virginia Johnson dancing Giselle.
Oh, okay.
Does that bring back memories? That
It does.
so beautiful.
It's always very hard to watch yourself dance.
Yes?
You see only the things that didn't work.
Well, for us, we don't see anything that didn't work. So that was extraordinary. Talk to us a little bit about the influence of Misty Copeland, because one of the things that I see when I'm looking at a lot of the young black girls who are getting an opportunity to dance, they look exactly like Misty Copeland. There really isn't, it doesn't seem to me, the variation of color that one would want or to expect. What?
Oh, that's an interesting thought. You know, that's a very interesting thought. One of the things that we have in ballet is this aesthetic, an aesthetic that belongs, a way of looking, a way of seeing what beauty is, that belongs from a historical point of view. And that has, in this country, been a barrier to really bringing in lots of different kinds of dancers, because George Balanchine said that all ballet dancers should have very small heads and long legs and a short torso. And so you saw in a period in America that everybody was looking like that, whether they were beautiful dancers or not, but their body type was exactly right. To go back to the complexion, I think that people often look at me and Giselle and say, oh my God, you were successful because you were so light-skinned. You got a chance to do this because you were closer to that aesthetic that was out there. Dance Theatre of Harlem, from the beginning, was a company that was made up of all different kinds of dancers and all different kinds of complexions. And you got to do a role that you were capable of doing, and the color of your skin didn't really matter. Misty Copeland, the color of her skin is beautiful. She could have been darker, she could have been lighter. What Misty Copeland has is the set of capabilities, the talent and the perseverance and the ability to withstand a long time people saying to her, no.
Exactly.
So the color of her skin is kind of immaterial. So it's a little bit troubling that might be something that's on people's mind.
The interesting thing about the Dance Theatre of Harlem, I noticed that in many dance companies, everybody wears white or beige, pink tights and slippers, and so that dance leg line has to look exactly the same. At the Dance Theatre of Harlem, it's not that. Talk a little bit about the matching of the skin color to tights and shoes and all of that.
So when Dance Theatre of Harlem was founded back in 1969, we all wore pink tights and pink shoes. And it was probably in the mid-'70s that Arthur Mitchell had the idea. He was looking at the stage full of dancers of amazing different skin tones. It was like kind of a rainbow. It was very beautiful, the variance of skin tones on the stage up here. But down here it was all white, pink legs. And he was saying, why are we breaking the line? Ballet is about making line. We want to see the whole person. We want to see the whole body. And so he had our wonderful wardrobe mistress, Zelda Wynn, he had her dye our tights to match our skin tone. And then we had to figure out how to make our shoes, that all come in pink satin, match our tights. But it was to get the idea that you're looking at an individual dancer each individual dancer coming together to make this unified expression.
Right, right. And as I watch my daughter dyeing her daughter's shoes to match her skin color, it really was, and is a complete revelation and just a totally new honoring of the wonderful colors that we have as Black Americans. We have a clip of a photo shoot of your company that I want to play because these people are just so beautiful, in addition to being great dancers. Let's take a look at that.
We have been doing today a photo shoot for our new season.
We work a lot on the composition and the light and the color. Photographs, almost like painting.
Clothes in motion is just something that's beyond. Once it's on somebody, it's like, I did it for a reason.
This year we want to really feature the idea that these dancers are individuals, that they're people with stories to tell.
We play with the expression of the face, the different shape and body to show more the soul of the artist.
Classical ballet is very structured and very formal. And what Francois is doing is actually breaking some of the rules and taking you inside the frame so you're closer to the dancer and you're seeing the dancer as an individual.
We try to mix and match and put a lot of different dimensions and a lot of different body types and things like that on the stage together, because that's what the world really is. That's how the world truly looks.
Usually when you see the results at the end and you see how much work you put into it, it's very worth it.
To realize that, there's something much deeper happening here at the Dance Theatre of Harlem.
Oh, so wonderful. And Virginia, you did say that the fire department showed up because of the smoke machine.
Yes.
Just terrific. Now, I was at your holiday performance last year because the niece of our producer-director, Audra West, was
wonderful.
performing, and she was fantastic. That's one of my babies on the side there.
Oh.
Ariana is fantastic. I just want to say that what you do with even the smallest, because even Ariana is a teenager, what a big kid, but you have babies, who were, running around and actually playing the mice and et cetera. So the theory of starting so young.
Well, so, it takes a good long time to become a dancer. The benchmark is 10 years to become a dancer and 10 years to become an artist, which is really a lot.
20 years, right?
It is. And so when you start very young, when you plant that seed in a young person, you can really get their enthusiasm and you can get their joyfulness going. And you can start honing those skills because it's a very intricate and rigorous art form. And it takes a long time to master. So, Carol, I have to say one of the great pleasures that I have in my life is that, I walk into that building and I see this little girl who was 5 years old last year and she's 10 years old now, and I can see what she's doing and I can see how she's gaining mastery of herself and she's gaining a sense of confidence. It's a very powerful thing to study this art form. It really does give you a lot of strength and a lot of self-assurance.
Right, right. And Ariana and her crew are going to be on The View. They've taped a segment.
Absolutely.
And I think we have a shot of them at,
that's
with their gang.
fabulous.
We
Okay.
put that up. Where are they? But at any rate, they are fantastic. We're so excited. There they go.
Oh, look at that.
The View.
Yeah.
There's Whoopi hanging out with them.
Fun.
And Ariana on the top right.
Beautiful Ariana, absolutely. Oh, I'm waiting to see what's going to happen with that young one. She's very talented, but she works hard. There are a lot of people who are talented in the world, but you've got to be able to put in the time and effort to make that talent blossom.
Right.
And so when you see somebody who's got both, then you're excited.
Right. Well, we're following her closely. That's why I like to go to her performances. I knew her when. I want to talk about this video, which made me cry. I think the opening scene, I was already crying about a little girl who goes to her grandmother's funeral, and the mother has tickets to the ballet but throws them in the trash. And the little girl, who really has that burning desire, takes the tickets out of the trash and somehow, I love this part, gets herself to the Dance Theatre of
I was a
Harlem.
bit worried about that.
Yes, that was the only thing that was a little. You see her on the subway. I'm going
By
to
herself.
I'm going to the ballet. Let's take a look at that video. It's really wonderful.
I will be high above and watch it for you. Through all the headaches, hard times and heartbreaks, missteps and mistakes, I will be there. Baby, I will be high above. Baby, I will be high above. Baby, I will be high above and watching for you.
Ah, that is so. And of course, the beginning is she was trying to get up on that shelf to bring down the photo album and couldn't make it. And finally, those point shoes helped her to do it. But you say that you did that. You danced around in.
Oh my gosh, you
points
know,
with-
just all the time doing all kinds of silly things that I just had to dance. I just had to dance.
I know. Oh, it's really now that we do want to say that voice, if you recognize it, is India Ari, and talk to us
we
a little
were-
bit about that.
We were thrilled to be able to have her join us for this. It was just serendipity. Our filmmaker, Daniel Schloss, had the song written for this video, and he was saying, well, we need to get somebody wonderful to sing it. And it was, you know, I'm not sure exactly who the connection was that made that link for us, but it was really wonderful to get India Ari. She is perfect for this video.
It's so wonderful. You can watch this online. You should watch the entire video. But your season starts April 19th through 22nd at City Center.
At City Center, yes.
And what will we see? What's in the?
So we have a great mix of works that are on the program this year. You know, at Dance Theatre of Harlem, we have a program called Women Who Move Us. And it's about developing female choreographers, bringing the female voice to the stage. Just the way that Dance Theatre of Harlem is bringing dancers to the stage that you haven't seen in the ballet stage before, we want to bring another way of looking at this art form. And so we have two works that are choreographed by female choreographers. One is Francesca Harper, who is a former Dance Theatre of Harlem company member, who has danced in Europe and has a company of her own. She has created a magnificent work called System. And System is what I think Dance Theatre of Harlem is really all about. It is a way of saying, this is classical ballet for the 21st century. It really asks our dancers to understand who they are as classical artists in the moment of Freddie Gray, in the moment of the Black Lives Matter movement. So it encapsulates our history in this country, but it also is a ray of hope that we have some kind of beauty, some kind of strength to bring to the current moment through this medium of ballet. The other Women Who Move Us work is by Diane McIntyre, the modern dance icon.
Right.
Diane created this work for us last year. It's called Change. It's for 3 women, and it is a powerful work that has asked our young ballerinas to find in themselves a new kind of strength.
Incredible. You know, we interviewed on this show Claudia Schreier, who's a young black choreographer.
Yes.
So few, you hear about so few of them. Talk to us a little bit about how difficult that is. You know, we're used to concentrating on the front of the stage, the front of the house, as opposed to who's created this dance.
Exactly, exactly. So that's another area that we want to look at. When you think about a ballet company, you have 16 dancers, as Dance Theatre of Harlem has 106 dancers. You have all the people who are doing the work. You have the director, the person who's putting things together. But who is making up Who's creating the vision of it? And the person who's able to do that is a very rare individual. In the past, it's usually been kind of a hierarchy of you were a dancer you were a principal dancer, or you were a dancer, you were a man.
Right.
You were given the part because
Precisely.
the women are to be beautiful and the men are to do. Well, so now women have been in this art form just as long as the men, and we have ideas about what's possible. So it really is a matter of creating opportunity. Now, Carol, one of the great things about the modern world is people are paying attention to the fact that there are few female choreographers, and there are many initiatives across the country about bringing females to the stage, behind the scenes, making the work.
Right, right. And Claudia is this year I don't want to use the word fellow. It's sort of a male, but she's in the
Fellowist?
A fellow, a sister.
There we go.
At the NYU program that is aiming specifically in developing female choreographers, which we absolutely need. And Claudia, by the way, as you know, is designing a dance for Wendy Whalen, who was the diva of the New York City Ballet, and they're going to do that at the Joyce this summer. So success there. I want to ask you about a couple of things. One is Brown Girls Do Ballet, which is this viral sensation of, I see it on Instagram mostly, of brown girls doing ballet. What do you think the impact of that is? Millions of people.
I love it. You know, when I was at Point Magazine, I was starting to put together a program around this idea of mentorship, so often there are, in a ballet school, there may be one or two dancers of color. And you feel you're doing the thing that you love. You're not really paying attention to who's what color. You're doing this thing, but you also have a sense of isolation a little bit. I think that Brown Girls Doing Ballet, just what Dance Theatre of Harlem does when it's on tour, is reinforcing the notion that we belong here. Oh, wait, we are here. We're doing this, and let us support each other in that. So I think it's magnificent.
Right, great. And I want to get your reaction to Hiplet, which is, or Hiplay, I guess it is, hip hop ballet. You can tell how out of it old-fashioned I am. But let's take a look at this. I showed this to my 7-year-old granddaughter. She got a big kick out of it.
People say that we're doing this because black girls can't do ballet, so this is the alternative. It has nothing to do with that. I will tell you, every girl in this studio is classically trained. Everyone does ballet. I love dancing hip-lit. It just gives you a sort of a confidence and just a freedom of just to be yourself.
Another viral sensation.
That's pretty wild.
Right. So this melding of the cultures of ballet and hip hop, what's your reaction to that?
Well, you know, I think that we're in this world where all of these influences are out there. Some people are going to make incredible beauty from putting things together that have never been done before, and some people are going to put things together that have never been done before that you don't like so much. But you should do that because that's how art moves forward.
Right. And those girls, those young women, I should say, dancing. I was standing next to an ice machine once in the cafeteria of the ballet school, and a dancer was filling a bag full of ice, and she says, it's for my toes.
Oh, yes. Let me tell you, I would come home from a day at work. I would fill the bathtub with cold water and ice, and I would walk around in it for 5 minutes.
Right.
And it felt good.
It's
That's
hard.
how bad your feet hurt.
Yes, so young girls and women out there who want to be ballerinas, it's not an easy thing. It is
not for the
tough
faint of
work.
heart.
We always ask our guests near the close of the show to finish the statement: the strength, the power of Black America lies in. Where do you think that is? What do you think that is?
You know, that's a really powerful question. I think that we have been so much a part of this country's history. We've broken so many boundaries. We've created so much beauty and positive activity. You know, we are part of the fabric of this country. The thing that's going to happen now, the thing that must happen, is for this country to realize that we are America, that we're central to this future, that we've made things happen here that have made this country great. And by embracing that, we will make this country even greater. And
that's a powerful statement. And you're thinking about where the art form fits into that?
Absolutely. You know, I think there's a whole thing about ballet being for the elite or ballet being for your spare time when you have an extra money. Ballet is an essential part of a good life. I want people to feel like, I've had a rough day. I need to go see Dance Theatre of Harlem because I need to have a new look at what I'm doing. I need to be uplifted. I need to believe again. And I believe that Dance Theatre of Harlem can make that happen.
Well, and the next chance to see them, April 19th through 22nd at City Center, some fantastic things. Your audiences are what do they tend to be? Mostly black or mixed?
Carol, you know, when we're on tour, and Dance Theatre of Harlem is a touring company, our presenters love us because they say, it's the one time that I have a very diverse audience. You have the black community coming to see a diverse ballet company, a black ballet company, and you have the white community coming to see a ballet company, and they come and they sit in the theater together. So our audiences are tremendously diverse.
And the 16 members, it used to be, how big?
At its biggest size, we were 55 dancers.
Right.
Yeah. We had to size ourselves to be a touring company in the 21st century. It is a very expensive proposition.
And how many cities will you say you're going to this?
Oh my gosh, I think that we'll probably do 35 cities in a year.
35 cities, that is just incredible. And you're 700 students every Saturday and I guess all during the week learning how to master this art form. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, well, thank you
You're
for
an
inviting me.
inspiration. And it's a tremendous segue. I know that those kids are happy to know that you have been there. You know what it's like. You can sympathize with their pain and also with their great success. Thank you so much for being with us today. Dance Theatre of Harlem. Get thee to City Center or wherever you are in the country to see them. They're just fantastic. Thank you for being with us today, too. I'm Carol Jenkins. The program is Black America, and we will see you the next time.
Thank you.